Symphony of the Machine is a nifty little puzzle game that finds you ascending to the top of a tower to solve an assortment of puzzles. All of the puzzles involve splitting and directing laser beams to point at various objects. Sometimes, if you point the laser at one target, another one gets blocked, and you have to figure out the best way to redirect the laser. With every puzzle you solve, you either get another splitter or a reflective floating board that you can use to direct the laser. The puzzles are pretty great. The game does a very good job of introducing you to its concepts slowly and in a way that feels intuitive, with a satisfying ramp-up of difficulty as you go along. By the end, you have several splitters and reflectors to deal with, but thanks to the gradual difficulty curve, it never feels overwhelming. Though I kinda wish there was more of a variety of puzzles to solve, it's really just the one type that gets harder as you go along. The puzzles are inventive and satisfying to figure out. I also like the way the game just drops you into the world. There aren't any text prompts telling you what to do, you just kinda figure it out. The game is really smartly designed in the way that it's always very clear what you need to do next, without the game ever spelling it out for you with text prompts or narration. On the other hand, if you're looking for any kind of story, you're gonna be disappointed. Still, the world itself has enough personality that the game doesn't just feel like a lifeless puzzle delivery mechanism, though really that's what it is. Plus, it looks really nice, and there's a very palpable sense of presence. I'm not sure why, but I find some VR games give you a much more visceral, you are there feeling, and Symphony of the Machine is pretty great in that regard. Because of that, I think it would be an especially good VR showcase for non-gamers. There's no fast-paced action that may trip someone like that up. My biggest issue here is really more of a PSVR complaint. Though Symphony of the Machine seems like it would be pretty amazing on a room-scale VR system with more advanced tracking like the Vive, here on the PSVR, it can sometimes feel pretty fiddly. Because of the amount of reaching all around you that you need to do, combined with having to make fine adjustments to your laser setup with the PSVR's sometimes very jittery tracking, the game really magnifies all of the PSVR's tracking issues. More so than with any other PSVR game that I've played, it is super important that your camera is positioned just right. If you go outside of the tracking area while carrying an item, even just for a split second, the item will reset back to where you picked it up. You eventually learn to drop and then re-pick up an object several times so that if it resets, you don't have to go too far to get it back. You also frequently have to press a button to rotate your view, which can feel clumsy and awkward. Because of the relatively small space that you're moving around in for the bulk of the game, it really feels like it was designed for the room-scale movement of the Vive. And in that system, being able to just freely walk around the small space, I can imagine it would be pretty amazing. On the PSVR, on the other hand, it's a little bit finicky. Still, it's fun enough and satisfying enough that it's easy to mostly overlook these technical gripes.